always want to know about my love life because I don't really have much of one.
If we have two individuals who are both very driven, doing their own things, the feeling is we want to ensure that we have enough time for a relationship. Do you have any questions about your personal life? We can explore career, health, kids, family, relationships, whatever you're comfortable discussing. I'll let you ask any questions or if you have any upcoming opportunities you'd be curious about.
I guess I want to know if I'm gonna find love again and if I'm gonna have more babies.
What's interesting about this is that I'm either seeing a relationship with someone who has a record label, I'm seeing a record label. No. I don't want you to date a rapper.
No, I don't want to date a rapper anymore. Get them away from me.
I feel you, but I'm like, record label,
I'm very attracted to creative people,
Sure.
so that's why they call me.
I feel you. Keep in mind a man with a T name. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
I believe that over the course of the next, basically, well, I'm seeing spring, but I do see an opportunity for two relationships. There's the T initial, and then I'm referencing to a man with a record label that's showing interest. So if you don't want to go the rapper direction, we'll avoid.
A man with a record label.
Record label, or would have a.
I could do record label if he owns.
If he owns a record label.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, that's what we're going for. I love it.
So you keep saying my next boyfriend or whatever. Do you not see anything about my current boyfriend?
Love it, look, because we might be fine there. I mean, look, I think in the way this kind of comes across, I always tell people I'll see an area and I'll see when a part of our lives are going to kind of reach a peak. So whether we're in something currently or in 2 years, we're going to kind of reach this point. I generally kind of view what is a good opportunity based on what's peaking.
Right.
And for you, I really am feeling like love life is not the area right now that is reaching its peak. Career is really that area. So one of the challenges that's coming through is a referral of ultimately being distance, but in a physical sense. What comes through is literally, I'm seeing a clock in the way that this pops in, and I'm seeing this, and it's symbolic for basically saying that a schedule or two people's schedules would not be ideal for kind of a cohesive relationship. If we have two individuals who are both very driven, doing their own things, the feeling is we want to ensure that we have enough time for a relationship to be able to have that. And that can be a challenge if two people are motivated and are not necessarily always together physically with where they're going. So that can definitely be the case. I would say for the current situation, so long as we can make sure distance does not end up being an issue, we're fine. For some reason, I just saw an A, so keep it in mind. It could obviously be an initial of a person. I don't see A's frequently, so.
There may be an A initial that's good to look out for, although I'll accept any letter of the alphabet that seems good and hilarious, because at this point I really can't say no to too many people.
I would just be conscientious of when it comes to relationships with other performers. They keep having me kind of talk about this of like being careful or navigating that carefully when it comes to other people who would be like in your industry and also at the same level.
It's good to know where to look and where not to look.
Right.
Sometimes.
And sometimes knowing what not to do can help us just as much as knowing what to do.
I already know not to talk to any rappers.
Right.
Don't worry. It's okay. I already know that.
I gave the same advice to Amber Rose. She didn't take it. So let's not do that.
Not gonna do it.
He's having me joke about your love life, and he's wanting me to say it's gonna be fine, but he's like, no one's good enough for her.
Amen.
Which is true. That's funny. For some reason, they're showing me, okay, refill the cup, but then it's, okay. It's all symbolic, so it's like a lot going on up here. Basically, the gist with this is they're having me acknowledge that in order to move forward in a way that's fulfilling romantically, we kind of either have to fish or cut bait.
Oh my God.
And that might be on both sides. And the feeling is if we're not game, then it's letting go of that individual's energy.
Because she's having trouble letting go of someone.
So it's kind of a feeling of like fish or cut bait. Just conclude it, basically, is the way this kind of comes in.
Yeah, definitely cutting bait on one.
There you go.
Cutting it.
Cut bait.
So that looks good. Regardless of who we do or don't have in our life in the present moment, they are giving me a name to keep in mind. It doesn't mean it's one soulmate, it just means it's a potential person. There's a reference to a James that's coming in.
Holy
And they're just having me bring up, like, think on that situation a little more, and that's all it comes in. So, just gotta keep in mind.
God, I would have the best looking grandkids in the world.
Something's going on in there.
Oh.
Yeah, let's move on to the living.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, I just came out of, a second marriage, and that didn't go so great. Now I'm starting over. again. I am basically starting from scratch, I feel like, because I've just been through quite a bit in my life the last couple of years, and I'm starting fresh. So I feel like I have a clean slate, and I just want to feel like that I start off on the right direction.
French. They were trying to be France. Do you have any romantic connections to France?
Yes.
Okay, like previous though?
My first husband was French.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
my long-term boyfriend was French.
Okay.
So I have a French thing. Maybe I should just go to France.
Maybe you should go to France. This looks good.
And take a couple of French lovers, at least, for a
Exactly.
moment.
Oui, oui.
Oui, oui.
Lots of oui, oui.
Lots of oui.
Oh no. That was funny. I don't see any red flags. I feel
Right.
like it's gonna work out, but it's because you need to do some healing, honestly,
Yes.
from the previous situation.
Totally.
You know, and
Totally.
it takes some time.
Yes.
So I think when we're there, and maybe even like 6 months we could talk.
No,
you know, when we're at
yeah,
like, a better
no, I'm
point.
having, I'm just taking care of myself.
Yeah.